Respected fellow, I will going to share my experience with you as an online teacher and what I have learned over the past couple of months when all of us were working as a online as a conducting our online classes. So let's start with the things which I want to share right away with you people. So first, what I did at my uh, place is that I put up a background for my online teaching. It's like a simple green colored charts which I have purchased, and then I just place them on the wall, and that helps me to create backgrounds of whatever the type I want to. But I suggest you that it is always better to have a specific background related to a particular class. That always helps, and it helps and create an environment where students feel more attached, and they feel like I must say it helps them to be a little bit more attentive. And you can try all these little creative things with your background. And this particular picture which you can see on my background is on my background in this picture is I draw it by myself. That's just for a cellular structure for introductory biology class, and that's just give them a little bit sense that a teacher is trying to create like a more specific environment for every class. You can just put up the name of the class as well, or any specific picture which you like to use for a particular topic or for a particular class as well. Next, is the voice quality, because it is sometimes we do not understand at that time when we are talking that whether the students who are trying to listen to us like on their cell phones and on their desktop PCs or on their laptops, that they able to listen our voice clearly or not. Even if we miss some of a part of the sentence, if they just miss a part of the sentence, it will be very difficult to extract the real concept during teaching, because every word or every expression which we use in our sentences actually helps students to understand the real concept behind that conversation. So just it is our responsibility that we should need to be very careful that whether our voice is going out there uninterrupted or without any ups and downs. So traditionally or theoretically it is okay to stay like at a 2 to 3 feet away from your microphone. You need to keep your mouth in the direction, you need to keep speaking in the direction of microphone, because if you are speaking like this, like I'm speaking in this way, or if you are speaking like this, so whenever you change your direction, it will actually affect the voice quality a lot. The best thing you can try for that purpose is to use a collar microphone. That is best. It does not the quality does not change if you move your head in any direction or any dimension while you are teaching. So that's another thing, and that helps the students to get the things correctly, and they do not try to disassociate themselves during the classroom, because when they start when they do not get the things correctly in the earlier sentences, they usually fail to stay up, and they usually fail to stay with the class after that. So that is one of the way that we can help them to stay in touch with us with the proper quality of our voice. The next interesting thing I believe that it helps me a lot to keep my students engaged is that I try to integrate the real-time writing during the online classroom sessions. That is the most traditional way we have actually evolved with. We used to write on the whiteboard or on the notepads. Whenever we try to teach to the student, we need to draw different things in our own ways. So we have evolved our ways, and suddenly we just pushed not to use all those ways at all. So how about putting those things back into the online teaching? And that is one of the very important thing I believe that it helped me. This is a screenshot of one of my online classroom which you are looking at, and that is like I was like writing in a real time mode, and students can see whatever I am drawing or writing on the pages. And you can repeat that thing, of course, with the whiteboard as well. So how you can integrate the real-time writing or a real-time whiteboard with your video lecture? Because I believe that your video should be there. because it helps the students to feel the gesture and to feel your presence. And indirectly, it helps the students to feel the environment of the classroom. And if you're able to write at the same time, it will give a very good combination of an environment which you like to have as an online teacher. So how you can integrate that real-time writing stuff into the video lecture right away, it's not very difficult. It's pretty easy, but you need to follow certain steps. The first thing, you need to have an additional camera, or if you don't have any additional camera, you don't need to worry. You can use your Android smartphone. That is good enough, and I highly recommend to use whatever the smartphone you are using, and that is good enough. And you need to place that smartphone in such a way that it can focus whatever the thing you are using as a writing pad. For example, if you can see in this picture, I have placed it like this on the stand, and it can focus on the table, and I can write, and I can place my writing notepad on that table, and I can start writing as well in the meanwhile. So how you can actually install or incorporate that thing? I will be available for any assistance if anybody wants me to. But in the meanwhile, I have placed all the required information out there. All you need to do is to have an Android smartphone, and you need to install an app in your Android smartphone. There are multiple apps out there. I'm just placing one of them, like IP webcam. Once you install that app in your smartphone and you play and you start that application in your Android smartphone, it will give you a server option at the very end. You can see that thing in the tutorial as well here. And when you click on that server, you will start getting the live video of whatever your smartphone is capturing into your Google Chrome. So all you need to do is to switch between your PowerPoint to the other tab of the Google Chrome to let the students see whatever you are writing at the same time. And it actually indirectly helps the students to feel better as well, that you are working and we are working for them, and we are trying to help them to understand the things more easily. So the other difficult thing which we are facing, actually it's a lot of work, that how we can process the output videos which we create during our online classes, because sometimes we go informal, sometimes we go formal, and then we will be able, at the end of the day, the Zoom folder will give us like multiple videos out there, or sometimes it give us like a one big video with certain informal conversations and or many conversations which you do not want to add into your final lecture. So you need to know how to trim those different unwanted fragments from that video. And also you want to know that how to merge different videos to make one bigger video as well. So you can get these things done with the help of the Movie Maker. But once you use the Movie Maker, because it's a free version, if you're not having a purchased version, it will give you a very big sized output file. And the big size output file is very difficult to deal. For example, a 40-50 minutes of video lecture will give you about like 4 or 5 gigabytes of an output file. That's too big to share with the students. So you need to convert them into other formats, or you need to simply convert them into MP4 format using a real-time converter, which can be downloaded from, which is a part of the Real Player. You can download that software from this website. So that converter will convert that output file into like 150 or 200 megabytes, so maybe 250 megabytes. That is good enough to be shared with the students directly, or to place on the YouTube after that. So these thing requires like I must say hell of the time. I mean, if you are like having a 1.5 hour lecture online, then it will going to take like 3 or 4 further hours for you to process that video. But like it's just a one-time job. Once you able to have that thing done, it will be much easier for you to share that material after that. Because putting the file on the Moodle is actually it's not very friendly, student friendly. But putting a link on the Moodle is much easier, because students can link and go to the YouTube and start watching your video. And I will let you know further on the YouTube as well after that. But that is the best thing to share the videos, because many of our data packages which we are using at our home and in our cellular phones, they offered like unlimited YouTube options almost. So it will be much easier for the students to see on the YouTube rather than on the Moodle, because it will consume a lot of money from their side as well. And putting the things on the Moodle is also very difficult, and getting it downloaded is like even more difficult for the students with the slower internet connection. So that is the best way. Once you get the link, you can share that links on different things. The other thing I used to do is that I use multiple platforms, because I get complaints from the students that they are not able to get the things from the Moodle. So it's not all, most of the students manage to get the things more easily from the Moodle, but even if you have 5 or 6 students who are complaining that they are not getting the things from the Moodle, then you need to provide them an alternate platform. So in order to avoid the excuses from the students, so the first thing is that I have created a Google Classroom. How you can create it, I have made a video, and I am putting the link of that video here, that how you can create a Google Classroom. It's quite easy and quite accessible, and much easier to control and to put the things at the same time. So it will not take much time. If you are putting the data on the Moodle, you can similarly put the same data on the Google Classroom as well, and the students will be notified in the meanwhile. So whether they can download it from the Moodle or from the Google Classroom at the same, just giving them an additional option of downloading the material. And at the same time, I have created a folder, a class folder for them on my Google Drive, and shared it with my students. And I have placed all that material in their Google Drive as well. Since we are, like most of us, are having wonderful internet connections, so we can do all these things more easily. And the students can then use later on at the place of, depending on the nature of the internet they are having, they can download these things from these different platforms. And last but not the least, I actually put the things on my website as well. So they can get it from anywhere. And of course the WhatsApp group is helping a lot, but try to not to like have longer conversation on the WhatsApp group, because it will send a message to the students to avoid your messages as well. Be very specific in the WhatsApp group. Just give them notices. I am actually only giving them notices on any updates that I have placed a lecture out there, and I do not involve in any longer conversations or explaining thing on the WhatsApp. Otherwise, too many messages in the WhatsApp, like 30 to 40 students talking on the WhatsApp, will actually dilute the important messages out there as well. So that is how I have used multiple platforms. The next thing is very, tricky, and that is assessment. So we are in a different world of online teaching, so we are no longer dependent on our traditional mode of assessment. So what I was doing and I am doing is that I try to give them assignments which are creative writing mostly, and I do not give them assignment for more than 1 page. So it will be easier for me to read all of them, so to figure out whether they are doing their job nicely, they are getting the concept which I want them to. So that is just my way. I believe that most of you are having like wonderful ways, and I would love to know all of those ways as well. But this is just something which I am doing. I do not give them like assignment for 10 pages or 15 or 20 pages. I just give them assignment to summarize or to answer a specific question with the like controlled conditions, like 600 to 700 words or something like that. Or sometimes I ask them to draw the models for me, or to draw the mechanisms for me, or to draw other things related to my courses. And then another method I have used is that I ask them to create like small 5-minute videos about a certain topic. So they create the slides with their own choice, with their own talent, with their own ability, using whatever the resources they want to use, and then they create 5 minutes video for me, and then they share that video through Google Drive or YouTube in whatever the way they want to. And that can help me, that actually helped me a lot in getting a sense that whether they are like logically explaining a particular concept or not, or how much depth they are having about a particular topic. And then another thing I did is that instead of giving them the MCQs to solve, I actually asked them to create MCQs for me. So I give them the topic and they create MCQs for me, and from the quality of their MCQs and the concept they use to create MCQs, I able to figure out that how much depth of knowledge that student is having for a particular topic. And then the group discussion, it is a very primary assessment method for me, that I created panels of students comprising 5 to 6 students in one group, and giving them different topic, and about 2 days for the preparation of that topic. And after that, I dedicate a session where me acting as a moderator and rest of the students are acting as the audience. And we ask questions to those 5 to 6 students, and they are like the ones who are answering our questions. And from that discussions, and I record all that conversations and their participation as well, I able to figure out that or assess their learning capabilities and whatever they have learned over the period of online teaching as well. So it's working quite nicely. Another thing which I wanted to try is that I want to have their one-to-one interview, and I will be doing it like as a final activity. At the end of the semester, I will be asking like one-on-one question with each of my students, and then to summarize my thoughts about giving them a grade. So these are the things which I am doing. And lastly, but not the least, is that actually the gestures which we used to make in our class, online class, actually matters much more than in the real time class. So letting the students know, like I used to let them know that I am recording that session right now. So just giving them a hint, and from here on, it will going to be our formal session. So, or if because there's a certain sensitivities involved with the webcam. So if they choose to turn off their webcams, they can choose, especially for the females. And if nobody wants to show off their home and other things, they can choose to turn off their camera as well. And I usually like to speak the name of 3 or 4 or 5 students in my class while speaking about some concept. Just let that student help to figure out that I am talking about him or I'm talking about her, specifically like pointing out his or her name while speaking about one particular concept. And then another important thing I allowed them to do is that because most of the students do not like to pop up for their questions, because it is usually a recorded section, so nobody wants to be embarrassed, actually not in front of everybody else in the world, because it's going to be on the YouTube or somewhere else. So they do not, they usually avoid to show up during the for the questions. So I ask them to either to ask their questions in private, because there is an option of private text in the Zoom as well, so you can get their questions, and you do not need to speak their name. You just need to rephrase or repeat their questions, and then you can answer those questions as well. I actually used to answer like 18 and 19 questions in this way. Students like keep popping up questions, and 1 and 2 and 3, when they know that their teacher is not naming not calling their name, so that is good enough for them. Give them a freedom to speak or to ask questions more frankly. Or you can ask them that you can ask a question and answer in the informal session after the recording as well. That's another way that to help the students to feel that whatever they are asking is not going to be recorded and not going to be shared with the rest of the world. Okay, and what I used to do as well at the end of the class, I used to speak like name of every of my student, like the roll call, and I try to my best to leave the meeting at the end. So I call their name one by one, like and I used to say goodbye to them as well, like under present conditions. So that is how these are my experiences, and I'm sure this is just my experiences, and I always want you people to help me to have better experiences as well. So there are certain other associated softwares are already there, which you can use instead of the Zoom, but this is not the very good time to switch between different programs. So I suggest that you should stick with whatever the mode you have already adopted. But if you want to, if things go wrong, like in the summers as well, so then we can try other software options as well. So these are the options and their websites, and this article actually explains everything, the difference and the comparison between these softwares. Usually the comparison is between the time they are offering, the free time they are offering, the number of participants they are offering, and the other things are almost the same. So you can use any of these things. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for spending time and allowing me. And it's really honor for me to talk with all of you. So it's goodbye from Dr. Mustafa. Thank you very much.